The Commission is aware of the protests in Bulgaria and we have been following the situation closely. Let me start by being very clear on an important point. The Commission fully supports the right to demonstrate peacefully. Peaceful demonstrations constitute the exercise of a fundamental right, which exists in all democratic countries and must be fully respected. The demonstrations show that citizens attach great importance to an independent and efficient judiciary and also to good governance. Before taking a final decision on lifting the CVM in Bulgaria, the Commission will also take duly into account the observations of the European Parliament and also of the Council.
The necessary structures are essentially in place, but Bulgaria has to make them deliver results more efficiently. Lack of results in the fight against corruption is one of the key aspects raised throughout the ongoing protests. Perception surveys show a very low level of public trust in the anti-corruption institutions. It is important to show that there is political will to fight corruption in a credible manner. As to media pluralism, the legal framework is in place, but safeguards are often not effectively implemented in practice. In addition, lack of transparency of media ownership is considered as a source of concern.
Boyko Borisov leads a pro-European government. He spearheaded the introduction of the euro and he looked at the rule of law mechanism in Council and has always supported it in Council. That is in line with Parliament's demands. Boyko Borisov wants to see this rule of law mechanism adopted, so it's not perfect. There is still much to be done by the Bulgarian government. Bulgaria is on the right path. Now, a change of government is not something that should come through demonstrations, but rather through elections. And elections are scheduled for next March. Everyone should cast their vote, and Bulgarian citizens will decide what happens.
When we Romanians took to the streets in that really cold winter of 2017, I remember we felt quite lonely out there because I was out there. And then one day, President Juncker and Vice President Timmermans stood up and they spoke up about it, very clear and very loud. Then other voices joined them, including the one of this Parliament, through a very powerful resolution. And I am grateful for that. You know why? Because it didn't feel cold anymore. And we were no longer lonely. And I am here today to ask for this voice of the Commission and of the Council and of this House because the Bulgarian people need it. Because it matters to them. It is really important to them, and we owe this to the people. It mattered fundamentally for Romania back then, and for every single victory of the people and of democracy in Romania since then. I have seen powerful names in some of our political families endorsing Mr. Borisov and his team, and I just want to ask, do you know who you are endorsing? Because you are endorsing a carefully knitted network of people facing serious allegations of corruption, money laundering and fraud with European money, and a system which is stepping on rule of law, democracy and European values as we speak. I have seen women dragged outside by the police and pictures of children sprayed with tear gas. Is this protection? Are you sure that this is one to endorse? I am calling for your voice because it does matter to the people and because this voice can make the difference between a captured state and a truly healing democracy.
We talk about the right of freedom of protest in Bulgaria. People are entitled to do that. We're part of the government and we respect this right of Bulgarian citizens, but when we talk rule of law, first of all, I think we need to give it a definition, which means quick justice. Here we see the far left and the Greens who are denying the Bulgarian people freedom to make their own decisions.
Here we speak all languages. Mr. Weber One of our chronic problems is that there's no longer a chance to have to campaign in any other language than Bulgarian. So you have to speak Bulgarian if you want to put yourself forward. Legally, you're allowed to use other languages, but which languages would you use above and beyond Bulgarian? Well, sorry, according to legislation, you can only speak Bulgarian. As an MEP, well, I've been here for 5 years, but obviously I've been a Bulgarian all my life. What's stopping people from demonstrating? Well, I mean, for 3 months, we've seen people demonstrating on a day-to-day basis. But you shouldn't exaggerate. We do need a proper justice system, that's true. And that will happen through our efforts and not by having people intervene that shouldn't. Here, you're talking about whether somebody's wanting to keep power for themselves. Any opposition that leaves power, they always then say they ask for new elections. But governments come and go. People remain, though. We will be successful when we